Riverside.
And with that free music, it's the 4th and 1 podcast. Live from Lancaster and Lidditz, Pennsylvania. Instagram at 4th and 1 podcast. And of course, anchor.fm /4th and 1. Of course, you can find us anywhere and everywhere you get your podcasts. Like and subscribe, por favor, on YouTube and now on YouTube podcasts as well. Micaiah, hello. Captain Boring, how are you?
What it do, baby? I was good up until about 4 hours ago when news came down that Jim Harbaugh is going to be suspended 4 games this year.
Well, thanks for bringing that up, because that's what I wanted to start with. Talk about it. Let the peeps know what's going on.
Yeah, so I guess during the COVID recruiting dead period, Jim Harbaugh bought a recruit a cheeseburger. And, yeah, I know, gasp. And then he wasn't truthful about it to the NCAA investigation committee, which is really why they're suspending him. I think if he would have come out and said, yes, I did do that, it would probably only be like 2 games or something like that. But the fact that he just kept saying, I don't remember, kind of pissed him off a little bit. And so they're going to give him 4 games. Michigan wants this to go away, so they agreed to do 4 games, I guess.
Yikes, him and what other coach did that is my question.
Yeah, I don't know that. I know Urban Meyer was suspended 3 games at one point when he was the coach of the Buckeyes. It's the 3 non-conference game and then the game against Rutgers at
No one cares!
home. So we should be all right, but definitely puts a damper in things, I think.
No one cares!
I'll just say it again, this time quieter. Yeah, I agree. I think they'll be fine, but, you know, who am I? What do I know? Micaiah, I see notes about Arch Manning, NIL deal. Are we surprised that a backup has an NIL deal?
Well, no, but he did come out and said that his parents won't let him have NIL because he didn't have the starting job, and now he has an NIL deal with a baseball card company that's
Nice.
going to make. And then I do guess that the profits from this NIL deal are going to a nonprofit in Texas, and then he signed another deal with the same baseball card company, and they're going to make signature cards for him, and then he's going to get money from that. So, no, I'm not surprised that him of all people have a NIL deal. I'm just surprised that he was a dirty, dirty liar, if you will.
What do you mean, dirty, dirty liar?
Because he said he wasn't going to take any NIL money until he had the starting job, and he doesn't have the starting job.
Yeah, we're not surprised about that at all. I mean, I'm not surprised about that. Are you surprised about that?
No, deep down I'm not, but I was hoping to not be surprised,
Micaiah,
if that makes sense.
2 seconds before we get into this, because we got to cover the biggest and the baddest of them all, the SEC today, as we preview. Stepping away from football to 1 second, would you believe, if it came down, that Shohei Ohtani, who probably does not want to play for the LA Angels, team in Japan, was offering him $1 billion to come play in Japan for 1 season so he could then go sign with the Yankees the following season?
Would that surprise me?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely it would.
So what do you make of the Saudis doing that exact same thing to Mbappe over in France?
It's a little desperate. For sure, it's a little desperate trying to get. Now, they tried it with Ronaldo, and they got Ronaldo over there. They tried it with Messi. Messi decided to come join Inter Miami. Free kick in his debut to win the game. Beautiful thing to watch. and now they're doing it with Mbappe. They're just basically the desperation of them trying to steal all the soccer stars to start their own soccer league. It reeks. I mean, the next thing the Saudis are going to offer to buy the XFL and then pay all the running backs all of their money.
But that would be smart if they did that. That's the thing. Because imagine this, right? Because if I'm a Saudi investor, right, they're thinking Mbappe is going to bring in $1 billion worth of revenue. Actually, $1,000,000,001. They think he's going to make a profit on it overall. Now, granted, yes, this team probably is funded by the government, and the government is still an absolute monarchy. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. All the money just goes to one place. But the point still stands that if the Saudis did that exact same thing, but took the XFL or the USFL, more likely the XFL, and just said, alrighty, I'm trying to think of people who are still playing, Jared Goff, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. Here is 2x your salary. Come play for the XFL. Except they did that at every single position because the Saudis basically have endless money. At least half of them are going to take it up on that offer, and then all of a sudden we have 2 professional football leagues in the USA. I don't think they're obviously going to do this. To be fair, we would have heard murmurings of this by now. But Makai, if that sort of thing happens, as you and I have made a few good predictions that have hit, what do you think that says for anything and everything?
That money is the driving factor in everything and anything, and money will drive every and all decision until the end of time. So would it surprise me? Yes, because I think that we have a pretty good thing going, and it's just hard for me to imagine something messing that up. But would it also surprise me deep down? No, because money is the driving factor of everything.
Doesn't surprise me. All right, we're going to roll into this.
Because it's garbage.
Except the opposite. We have the last and the final, with 4 weeks left in the season, until roughly 4 weeks until the start of 4 weeks until the start of college football in 2023. We have the Mac Daddy, unfortunately, of the NCAA. It's the Southern Eastern Conference. A year before Texas and Oklahoma joined. As always, Micaiah has read a little bit and will read a little bit. I have some information for him. We'll go over to give you guys what has happened this offseason, what we think the expectations are, and then we'll give them the wins and losses, and we keep track. This is the game where the points don't matter, and we don't something. I don't remember that thing. All right. Makai, do you have anything to say regarding the Southeastern Conference before we dig in, just in general?
That it is, without a doubt, the best conference in all of college football, and that it will probably produce another national champion at the end of this year.
You think it's going to be... I mean, as someone who did the research right before this, some of the facts surprised me. A lot of them, like Arkansas, are the ones that surprised me, sorry. And then there's a lot of them that, don't surprise me. I don't know. Let's just get going. All right, we're going to start with the one and get it out of the way that literally nobody cares about. And that is the Vanderbilt Commodores. Okay, they went, and I have the SEC standings up here last season. Last season in the East, they went 2-6 in conference, so they somehow squeaked out 2 wins against somebody, and they went 5-7 overall. They, if I have my map up here correctly, their offensive coordinator is third season overall with the program. His second season as the OC, as the same is with their defensive coordinator. They are out of the top 50 in both recruiting and in transfers. I would say they probably what's the word I'm looking for? Overachieved last year. Micaiah, what do you think?
Well, Vanderbilt's not a very good program, and it has high academic standards, especially for the SEC. It's kind of like the Northwestern of the SEC, except with less hazing allegations. In Clark Lee's second season at the helm, they went 5-7, as you said. Returning quarterback AJ Swan is back. He is a sophomore, and it will really pretty much hedge on his ability to develop. They do have a standout running back, Ray Davis, transferred in from Kentucky.
Wow.
They are set at receiver thanks to Jaden McGowan and Will Shepard returning, and Vanderbilt's defense has ranked last in the SEC in points allowed each of the last 2 seasons and nearly surrendered 40 points a game last fall. 7 starters are back. So Vanderbilt, will it be much of the same? Vanderbilt probably at best is an 8-4 ball club this year. I just think that it will be a great accomplishment if they get bowl, because 2 years ago they were 1-11, so they were a pretty bad ball club.
It was an overachievement for them to get 2 wins in conference, 3 wins overall.
Yes,
I was surprised when I saw that. 2 wins in conference. Alrighty, the week 1 they go to Hawaii.
I think that's a win. I think they're finally kind of taking
don't waste
shape.
your breath on Vanderbilt. It's not worth your time.
All right. Yeah, that's a win.
Okay. Alabama A&M.
That's a win as well.
Okay. At Wake Forest.
That is, I don't remember what I gave them there. I'm gonna say that's a win.
Oh, you're very nice. At UNLV.
At UNLV is also a win.
At Kentucky.
That's a loss.
Okay. Missouri.
That is a loss.
Yeah. Florida.
That is a loss.
Yeah. Georgia.
Loss.
Bye week Old Miss.
Loss.
Alabama. Auburn. Sorry, other Alabama school.
Auburn, I think, is a loss.
Yeah. South Carolina.
Loss.
And lastly, Tennessee.
Let's go win.
Hey, you have them dropping 1 game. They will go 4-8 this year. And I don't even know what the Commodores... Isn't there a car, their mascot? I don't even...
No, it's an anchor. Anchor down.
I don't even know what that means. All righty. Florida. Florida's interesting to me. We got Austin Armstrong coming in as a co-defensive coordinator. All of the coaches are on their second season, so no real changes. Austin Armstrong spent 2022 as Southern Miss's defensive coordinator and linebacker coach. He was under Billy Napier in 2020 and 2021 when he was at Louisville. Oh my gosh. Louisiana, very different, Raging Cajuns. Florida went 13th in recruiting in 2023 and 18th in transfer. Micaiah, Billy Napier's second season as the head coach. How does Florida look?
I think it looks pretty good. Got to replace Anthony Richardson, but Wisconsin transfer Graham Mertz comes in. I don't believe in that, but it's an SEC school. There's a whole bunch of quarterback talent, receiver talent, offensive line. Billy Napier seems to build a program the right way. The offense does return Travis Etienne's younger brother, Montrell Johnson. They do return a couple of offensive linemen, and they need to identify some playmakers on the outside to take pressure off of Ricky Pearsall. You talked about Austin Armstrong. The defense needs to get better. Allowed 28 points a game last year and 5.9 yards per play, and they struggled to stop the run at 175 yards. So Sure up that defense. Keep hammering home on offense, and I think they're a 9-win ball club.
I don't think you're far off there as I'm breaking my stuff. Florida starts week 1. I don't know. I think this is a neutral site game. No, it's not. It's Utah. Remember this now.
It's Utah in Salt Lake City, and I believe I gave the Utes a win. Cameron Rising, by all projections, is going to be good to go. So,
Oh, okay. So that is news.
yeah.
So Cameron Rising, we gave them an asterisk in the Pac-12. So now he's good to go for week 1?
It sounds like he's pretty confident he's going to be good to go week 1.
Is this non-CFP insider Roberto news?
This is a combination of me and Robert, yes.
Oh, look at you guys being all, what's the word?
Insidery?
Newsy. I don't know. Insidery? I don't know. Okay, McNeese State week 2.
I think that is a win. They get back on track.
Tennessee week 3.
Tennessee week 3. I'm kind of really high on Tennessee. Are they at Tennessee or away from Tennessee?
It looks like they are home against Tennessee. So in the Swamp.
In the Swamp, I think Florida takes care of Tennessee in the Swamp.
I think that's fair. That's turned into a rivalry as of late, Tennessee versus
I
Florida.
think that's always been a rivalry, but okay.
Well, as of late. This says Harlot. I'm guessing this is supposed to be Charlotte week 4.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, that's a win, though.
Either way, if it's a Harlot University, that would be surprising. At Kentucky week 5.
At Kentucky week 5, Kentucky struggles to beat Florida on a good year, so that is a win for Florida.
You have them beating Vandy, obviously, at South Carolina week 7.
I think that is a loss at South Carolina week 7.
And these weeks are hit or miss. Bye week and then Georgia in Jacksonville.
Yes, in Jacksonville at the world's largest outdoor cocktail party that they're not allowed to call that anymore. That's a loss.
Oh, that's stupid. That's not allowed to call that. I remember doing this last week. Arkansas, week 10.
Arkansas week 10 is a win.
Okay, interesting. I might actually disagree with you this year. At LSU, week 11.
At LSU, week 11 is a L.
At Missouri, week 12.
That's a win.
And then Florida State, I believe you had them losing to Florida State this year.
Yes, that sounds about right.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losses. They went. Florida went 6 and 7, so they're picking up a win. They're going 7 and 6 this year.
They would go 6 and 6. The loss came in the bowl game.
Ah, that's right. That's the overall. I'm sorry, guys. They'll go 6 and 6 again.
Yeah.
All right. So on par, which is pretty good for a second year, if I do.
Yeah, the hot seat's gonna get turned up, unfortunately, if he does end up going 6 and 6. Again, couple bounces of the way in any one of those games, they're 8 and 4 easily.
I think if he goes 6 and 6, he gets another year. So he goes from year 3 being the deciding year to year 4 being the designing year. Just because they've been so mediocre before him.
But that's the problem. Urban sets a high bar, and no one's been able to live up to it yet.
Well, speaking of Urban Myers, we're not going over to Alabama, but we are going to another red school. It's Arkansas Razorbacks. We're jumping from the East to the West Division, which is stacked. There's not a bad team in it this year, except for maybe this one, except for maybe Mississippi State. I bring up Arkansas for one reason and one reason only. Okay,
there are no bad teams except for maybe these two and maybe this one.
Okay, so Arkansas brings in a new defensive coordinator in Travis Williams.
Yeah.
Who was last at UCF as their defensive coordinator, and then Auburn before that. And if I had scrolled down, I could have seen that. They're also bringing in a co-defensive coordinator in Marcus Woodson. He was at FSU before that. This is what surprises me. They were 11th in transfers in,
yep,
and 22nd in recruiting. For a team that is mediocre almost every single year, 11th in transferring?
Well, they brought in 10 players to improve the defensive unit, which allowed 30 points a game last year. So that's clearly they went in. Now, you have to remember, I think it's in Little Rock.
I believe Fayetteville.
No, Fayetteville. You're right. In Fayetteville, that's Walmart country.
Yeah.
So Walmart gives a lot of money to that program. There's a lot of money going into Arkansas, and it's just whether or not Sam Pittman can kind of get this thing going. Now, in the last, since he's took over the job in 2 years, he's kind of made Arkansas a line of scrimmage, tough, physical football team.
Yeah.
It's just whether or not their defense can kind of get on par with that, because their defense has not been a tough, physical defensive line football team. It has been a pretty princess doing ballerinas across the stage football team.
I think that is a great thing, and maybe the title of the podcast.
Thanks.
They're going to start off home against Western. No, they're against Western Carolina in Little Rock.
Oh.
So they're still in Arkansas, but they're playing the game in Little Rock.
Oh. Does it say that?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, well, that's kind of weird, but also kind of cool. KJ Jefferson, fifth-year senior, returning. Rocket Sanders, Raheem Sanders, also coming back. They have been labeled the best duo, quarterback-running back duo in the country. They get a win week uno in Little Rock.
7-6 or 6-6, or I don't know, 7-6, 3-5 in the conference last year. It's very interesting that they're playing the game. I don't even know what stadium's in Little Rock, so I know what I'm Googling later. They're playing Kent State. It just says Kent here. I'm assuming they're not going to England to play this game, and they're playing Kent State week 2.
I would assume so, too. New offensive coordinator Dan Enos used to be on the Michigan staff, brought in to navigate some of the turnovers that have plagued the receivers and running backs, and they get a win in week 2, committing 1 or less turnovers.
Oh, cool. BYU in week 3. I don't remember what you had them here.
I don't remember either. Are they at BYU or at home? They are home. I'm gonna say KJ Jefferson grows up a little bit and gets a win at home against BYU.
This is kind of my dark horse. I don't think they're going to make a run. I don't think Arkansas is that good. They'll fall apart in the second half of the season.
Sure.
As they always do.
As they do, yes.
Yeah. But, still, I think it's a dark horse, and I think whenever the dynasty in Alabama ends, which may be this year, we'll get to it later, it's interesting. Or next year, really. They could be poised to do what they need to do. At LSU the following week.
At LSU the following week is an L. I didn't really... Kendall Briles used to be their offensive coordinator last year, previous 2 seasons. He is the son of the ex-former Baylor head coach, Briles. He's his son, so he has that air raid. He's in that air raid family, direct descendant of Mike Leach.
Yeah.
He is now TCU. He's TCU. Art Briles, thank you. He's TCU's new offensive coordinator. So just had to look that up. It's a loss to LSU.
Okay. I was actually saying RIP for Mike Leach, but that's
RIP
fine.
Mike Leach, but Art Briles. Art
So,
looks like RIP. Yeah.
This is another neutral site game that's not really a neutral site game versus Texas A&M in Arlington.
Yeah, it's played at Jerry World. It's an annual thing. It goes back and forth. I'm going to say they've actually beat up on A&M the last 2 seasons. I actually think A&M gets them. I think back-to-back losses.
At Ole Miss the following week.
At Ole Miss the following week. Yikes. I think it's actually 3 straight for them.
Well, you probably make it 4 at Alabama the week before, the week next, the week after.
They're at Alabama?
At Alabama.
No, I'm going to say they're going to win.
That's Alabama's one that they just shit the bed. Again, listen.
I have no rhyme or reasons anymore.
It's the best terminology.
The curse of Captain Boring has already struck. Okay, the curse of Captain Boring has already struck Michigan, so everything's out the window. Arkansas is beating Bama at home.
Okay, Mississippi State at home the week before. That's
a dub as well.
Okay, bye week than Florida. I think you have them winning. No, you have them beating. So that's a loss.
Oh, okay. All right. That's a loss for
and then
Arkansas.
Auburn.
That is going to be a win as well.
Okay. Florida International.
That's a win.
Okay. And then Mizzou.
Mizzou at the end of the season, at or away?
At. No. You said at or away. They're home against Mizzou.
They're home against Mizzou, then it's a win. Okay.
You said at or away. You know that, right?
No.
What? Neither of us caught it?
No, it's okay. It's fine. I'm just special sometimes.
They're going 8-4. And one of the things I want to talk about is the Tigers. But the Auburn Tigers, not the LSU Tigers. It is first season of... I really want to say it, but I'm not going to, so I will say strip club loving Hugh Freeze, fresh off a pretty good life-changing moment.
He wasn't strip clubs. He only hired his mistress and then hid it from the athletic director.
No. And he went to strip clubs with recruits.
Oh, did he?
Or he went to strip clubs in general. He was this all like Christian good boy, and then he went to strip clubs all the time.
I have Vandy going. Oops.
And then went to
Yeah,
Liberty to get baptized by Caldwell and make money.
So, I have Vandy going 4-8, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, 4-8, and then who else did we do? We did Florida.
Florida, you have with
6
5
and 6.
losses. Yeah, or 6 losses. Sorry. And Vandy, has 4 wins, and Arkansas has 4 losses.
So 8-4. Okay, sorry. I remembered that my job is to keep track.
Yeah. Auburn went 2-6, 5-7 conference overall last year, so missed a bowl game. They're bringing in Hugh Freeze. They're bringing in Philip Montgomery, who lost his job at Tulsa, so don't know why Hugh brought him in. And they're bringing in Ron Roberts, DC at Baylor. Previously, I think, was that the guy who was under what's his face? No, that was a different guy that I was thinking of. They're third in transfers, so he brought in, I think, probably all of his Liberty team, and they're 18th in recruiting for Auburn. It's an interesting team, and that's why I wanted to bring them up, to be quite frank.
So, according to Athlon Sports, Auburn's Hall ranks among the best in the nation in terms of transfers. All the players they brought in includes 3 potential starters on a thin offensive line, a starting quarterback, Peyton Thorne, coming from Michigan State. That's not an upgrade. Spoiler alert to everyone on the plains. It's not an upgrade to get Peyton Thorne in. I just want everyone to know that. It's a huge downgrade. All right.
It's a lateral move at best.
It's a lateral move at best. Yeah. Jump-starting a sluggish passing attack and offense that only averaged 25 points a game last year will be a priority for Freeze and coordinator Philip Montgomery. As Simeon said, not sure how that's going to play out, but some people are just better coordinators than they are head coaches. Ron Roberts come in to help improve a Tigers running game that allowed 172 yards per game on the ground.
Yikes. That's rough. This was the guy who was Baylor under Matt Reich. Who's the guy?
Rule?
Matt Rule.
Yeah.
He was Baylor's offensive coordinator.
Who?
Under Philip Montgomery.
Oh, Philip Montgomery. Okay, all right.
That's who I was thinking about.
Yeah, that makes sense. Also, I feel like we have a good flow going here. It only took us 4 conferences to get it.
Yeah, when we're basically done with conference preview.
Yeah.
It also helps when we, actually prepare for the podcast.
Okay, I'm always prepared. You're talking to yourself.
100%.
All right.
Micaiah, somehow I was able to get it in while you were talking. They're going to go week 1 to the Fighting Mike Browns up in Springfield.
The Fighting Mike Browns up in Springfield, Connecticut?
Nope. Massachusetts.
Oh, UMass. You mean Don Browns?
Don Brown.
Oh, my
It's a white guy name. It's an old white guy name.
It's a win, but it's just so disappointing.
The Minutemen in Springfield, Mass.
Simeon's nickname.
Listen, man, I'm trying. At California,
At
week 2.
California's a win.
And Samford. That one is in Connecticut.
Okay, Samford's in Connecticut, which means that it's going to be a win.
Yeah, then they're at Texas A&M.
That's a loss.
Yeah, then they're at home against Georgia.
Home against Georgia. That is a loss. I have to. We can pause and just leave it rolling. Dr. Horning's calling me. I got to take this.
Okay, and we're back. We said Auburn was losing to Georgia in week 5.
Yes, Auburn.
They then go on a bye week and are at LSU in Death Valley. No,
at LSU
yes?
in Death Valley is a loss for Auburn.
Yeah, and then home against Ole Miss.
I think that's I'm going to say a win.
Okay. Ole Miss is an enigma this year.
Yes, they are.
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State, I think, is a win.
Vanderbilt, I'm sure you had them beating. Arkansas. You had them beating Arkansas. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on.
No, I think I had Arkansas.
Auburn. Wait, where is? Oh, it's literally right above me. You had them losing to Arkansas.
Okay.
New Mexico State
Winning.
And then finishing off at Alabama.
I think that ends up being a loss.
All righty, so that is 5 losses for the Auburn Tigers.
7-5. They. Like Brian Harsin was a 6-6, 7-5 ball club. The only, as we've been saying for 2 years, Simeon, the only crime that Brian Harsin committed is that he wasn't from the SEC to begin with. He was a fine coach. He was going to turn Auburn around. Boosters ran him out of town. So now they're stuck with Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's an upgrade or not. Let's jump over to the reigning Natties.
Okay.
The reigning Natty champs. Would it surprise you if I told you they were not in the top 50 teams in transfers?
No, because everyone wants to be at Georgia, so one's leaving to bring people in.
They are second in recruiting. Correct. Yes. It is Mike Bobo's first season as the offensive coordinator. I have no idea who he is replacing. Do you know who he's replacing?
Mike Bobo, yes, he is replacing. Oh my goodness, he went to be the Baltimore Ravens offensive coordinator. I'll look it up. Continue on.
Okay, he was the offensive assistant in 2022 for Georgia. He was Auburn's offensive coordinator in
Todd
2021.
Monken.
Cool, thanks. And then he was also Colorado's head coach in 2015 to 2019. He, most importantly, was a quarterback at Georgia from 93 to 97. This is also Will's Muschamps trying to get another head coaching job, second season back as co-defensive coordinator at Georgia. So just important, obviously, top number 2 in recruiting. Didn't care because they didn't get anybody in the transfer. Obviously, they went 15-0 last year. They went 8-0 in the conference. It's going to be a hard team to beat again.
Gonna be, but they do have to replace starting quarterback Stetson Bennett. Carson Beck, probably a front runner there. They have the best tight end, maybe the best player in the nation in Brock Bowers. New arrivals of the transfer portal, Dominic Lovelet from Missouri and Ra Thomas from Mississippi State. More weapons on the outside.
Rate that name.
Great. 8.5 out of 10.
Nice.
Kirby Smart lost a bunch of defensive players to the Philadelphia Eagles. Nolan Smith, Jalen Garner, and Kaylee Ringo all went to the Eagles. Christopher Smith, he's somewhere as well. Next group of standouts.
You're talking about the Philadelphia Bulldogs, you mean?
Philadelphia Bulldogs. Next group of standouts and names to watch out for. Mykel, Mykel. How do you think that's spelled?
Mykel.
Mykel Williams, safety Malachi Starks, and linebacker Jamin, not Damon, Demas Johnson, and Samuel Munden. People are really creative with names, I'll tell you what.
Oh my goodness.
You're really struggling there, bro.
Okay. Wait.
Is it Samuel?
No, it's Samuel. S-M. A-E-L.
There it is.
Samil
That makes-
Mondon.
that makes
M-O-N-D-O-N.
tons of sense. They are starting at UT Martin week 1.
Well, UT Martin's going to have a bad week 1 then.
Okay. Ball State week 2.
Ball State's going to have an even worse time than week 1.
South Carolina week 3.
South Carolina week 3. South Carolina's an interesting team, but no match for Georgia.
UAB week 4.
UAB week 4. Georgia is just going to pound the state of Alabama, so just going to beat them real quick.
Another Alabama school, Auburn.
Auburn.
I have them.
I have
Yeah.
Georgia beating Auburn.
Kentucky.
Kentucky, unfortunately, that's an L.
Vandy, which is a W, bye week. Then Florida and Jacksonville. You have them beating, I believe.
Yep.
Missouri.
Missouri played it way too close, almost beat Georgia last year. Georgia's going to be angry and just mollywop them.
Lane Kiffin.
At Lane Kiffin or away from Lane Kiffin?
Away from Lane Kiffin.
Away from Lane Kiffin, it's a loss. Georgia loses.
At home.
At home.
Huh. Tennessee.
Tennessee at or
At
away from
Tennessee.
At Tennessee, that's a win.
You just wanted them to lose one game at Georgia Tech, which is a rivalry
Yeah, because
game.
I think with a new starting quarterback, like, come on. You can't go undefeated 3 straight seasons. If you do, it's the greatest 3-year run in all of college football. In the 155-year history of college football, it's the greatest 3-year run.
Mackay, I already know this. Mackay has them beating Georgia Tech. They're at Georgia Tech.
Yep.
But it's not really a road game for them in Atlanta. Wouldn't be surprised if that game's in Mercedes-Benz, if I had to guess.
It might be home.
It might be actually
Georgia
home.
Tech likes to play their games at home. Just so that there can't be more Georgia fans there than Georgia Tech fans.
That's fair. So you're expecting them to drop one, not Tennessee, at Tennessee. I know that Tennessee isn't going to be the same Tennessee as they were last year.
Somewhere along the line, latter half of the season, I think you had a run there of Kentucky, Ole Miss, and Tennessee. I just think one of those teams are just going to get them. Yeah, every team has that. Every team has a game on their schedule in which they win that they should have lost and lost that they should have won. And I think Georgia's just going to cough one up.
Okay. Speaking of probably somebody who will not cough one up because they'll just be coughing the whole season, Kentucky. The Kentucky Wildcats. This is Liam Cohen's second season overall, which means normally when it says overall, that means he's been with the team for a little bit. He's their offensive coordinator. They were 32nd in recruiting, 13th surprisingly in transfers. The Browns know how to get guys in. Kentucky went 3-5 in the conference. However, they went 7-6 overall last year, which means obviously they won their bowl game. Most likely, I don't know idea. I don't like the way Google is doing this. Anyway, Mackay, what else do you got for me?
As you said, Liam Cohen, he's got to replace Will Levis, who left for the NFL. He has one of the best trios at receiver at Tavion Robinson, Baron Brown, and Dane King. There's optimism for the line to rebound after a struggled mightily last fall thanks to a couple transfers. Defense certainly wasn't a problem for Kentucky in 22. Limiting teams to 19 points a game. Losing lineman Justin Rogers' transfer was a setback, but the linebacker unit should rank among the best in the SEC, as Stoops is a defensive guy. So regression to 7-6 last year, still made a bowl. I remember when Kentucky was winning 3-4 games annually. So Mark Stoops is doing a heck of a job over there. Let's get into what Kentucky's going to do.
Kentucky's first game is at Ball State.
At Ball State's just gonna have a rough month of September.
Who else was
Georgia?
Was it Georgia that was playing?
Yeah, it was Georgia week 2. They get Kentucky week 1 and Georgia week 2.
They're just staying in the South because they're both home games.
Yikes.
I'm assuming. Okay, so that's a win.
Yeah.
Eastern Kentucky, not Western Kentucky. Eastern Kentucky.
Eastern Kentucky. That's got to be an FCS squad. So
I believe it is.
I'm gonna label that as a win for Kentucky.
The Fighting, they're not really fighting, but I can't. I was gonna say the Fighting Kevin Kearns, but they're not really fighting, and I'm not gonna call out my uncle like that.
Yeah. The Zips.
So the FCS school, really the Division II school that is Akron.
Oh boy, the Division II school that is Akron is going to get beat like a Division II school that is Akron.
Yeah. Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt, I believe that's a win as well. So they're 5-0, 4-0.
I think we did Florida. At Kentucky is a loss.
Yeah, there it is.
Georgia. Loss. Missouri, we didn't do yet. What do you think?
I think Missouri is a loss.
Okay. Bye week. Lots of week 8 bye weeks in the East.
Oh, okay. All right.
Bye week Tennessee.
Bye week Tennessee, I think at or away.
They are home against
my
Tennessee.
Gosh. At or home? They're home.
Home.
It's a loss.
Okay. At Mississippi State.
Win.
Alabama.
Loss.
South Carolina.
Loss.
At Louisville.
Win.
Yeah, I think you had them winning in the ACC. Hey, he improves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, he doesn't. He goes 6-6 again.
He improved. Oh, right. No.
I mean, to be fair, some of the teams that no, he's losing to Tennessee, but he's beating Mississippi State. I don't know. Maybe he flips a Florida or Missouri.
Most of these games
you think he's out of there at the end of the year?
No, I don't, because again, it's what I said. Kentucky, not that long ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, was like a 3-win program year after year after year. And so I think 6-6 is fine. And it's not like they're getting blown out in all their lost games. Like, I think Georgia, that's probably going to be a game for 2.5, 3 quarters.
Yeah.
Tennessee is probably going to be a game to the very end, with it being at home. It's just going to be... Their offense was just so bad that, yes, it's got to be somewhat better than 20.5 points a game. But how much better is it really going to be to elevate?
Yeah.
Like, is it going to be 10? Because if you're 10 points a game better, you're probably picking up 2-3 wins.
Yeah.
But I don't think in 1 year you're going to be 10 points a game better, losing your starting quarterback from last year.
I think that's fair.
Okay.
Let's run over to the great state of Missouri that we tend to forget about. Another Tigers, one of the 3 Tiger teams in the SEC. Fun fact there for you. They went 7-6 overall last year. 6-7. Sorry, other way around.
Okay. Yeah.
3-5 in the SEC. This is Kirby Moore's first season as the offensive coordinator from 20 to 22. He was the Fresno State offensive coordinator and quarterback. This is Blake Baker's second season as defensive coordinator. I have no idea who their head coach is, but obviously he's not on this list. He's been there for a little bit.
Eli Drinkowitz, new play caller. Kirby Moore, you said. Blake Baker, the defensive coordinator, getting 8 starters back, including cornerback Chris Abrams, Drain, and Ennis Rakestraw, and linebacker Tyron Hopper.
Why did you pronounce Hopper like you don't know how to say Hopper?
Because I was still kind of caught up on Tyron.
Got it.
And if I say things too fast, people get confused. Brady Cook did have shoulder surgery in spring, slated to be their number 1 guy. So yeah, we're gonna have to see. I think 8 defensive starters back in a second-year stint with that defensive coordinator. It should be really interesting.
They went 42nd in transfers and 34th in recruiting. So,
okay,
pretty far down there. But they have to make a name for themselves one way or another. I guess Missouri starts off at South Dakota with home against South Dakota.
South Dakota, that game's very close, but I think it's a win.
Yeah, I agree with you. Middle Tennessee State.
Middle Tennessee State shocked Miami last year. Middle Tennessee State's probably going to put up some points. I'm going to say it's a win, though, but Missouri's not taking anyone for granted.
I don't remember where you put them here. Kansas State, week 3.
Kansas, that's a loss.
I think you're correct.
Yeah.
Memphis in St. Louis.
Ooh, Memphis in St. Louis. I think that's a win. I'm not really sold that much on Memphis.
Vanderbilt, I believe you have them beating Vanderbilt. LSU.
That's a loss.
Kentucky, which we just did, you had them losing, so you had them beating Kentucky.
Okay.
All right. South Carolina, week 8.
Loss.
Okay. Georgia, you had them.
Loss.
Yeah, I guess. Tennessee.
That's a loss for Missouri.
Florida.
You tell me.
I have to find Florida against, who are we talking about?
Missouri.
Lost. They beat Florida.
Okay. They beat Florida. Okay, great.
And then Arkansas, which is a cross-conference game, you have them losing.
Okay.
Is there one more?
I don't think so. You have the schedule pulled up there.
Oh, I didn't give them their bye week. Yeah, that's
Okay.
correct. There's not
All
one
right,
more.
so how many what is that?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another year of 6 and 6.
Another 6 and 6. Still
Another
not
6 and
bad.
6. Well, that's because they play cupcakes. The SEC, all the SEC plays cup. The first team not to play a cupcake schedule wins.
Yeah, probably.
I don't care if it's Vanderbilt. The first team not to play a cupcake schedule and beat all 3 teams that are not cupcakes wins. You can go 3 and what would that be? 8,
9,
or 3 and 9 you could lose all of your conference games. You still win because you didn't play cupcakes. Let's go. These are the two in my opinion, the 2 most interesting teams in the East, in the SEC, are left. We have the South Carolina Gamecocks, which we're going to go to first. I see you smirking over there. The Gamecocks, this is the first year for Dowell Loggins, offensive coordinator. He was previously the tight ends coach in Arkansas from 21 to 22, and before that, he was only in the NFL. He was, I think he was the offensive coordinator for the Jets a few weeks ago. I'm looking that up. He was offensive coordinator in 2019, 2020, as well as offensive coordinator for the Dolphins, Bears, quarterback coach for the Bears, Browns, offensive coordinator for the Titans. So, yeah, a bunch of mediocre teams given the years that he was the offensive coordinator.
South Carolina was very mediocre until they knocked off Tennessee, who was in the top 10 at the time, and Clemson, who was in the top 10 at the time. One was at home, one was away. Both were on primetime television. Spencer Rattler is going to this season rides and falls with Spency Rat. Whether they're going to be able to make a run of it is how good Spencer will be determined by how good Spencer Rattler is. Depth is thin at running back, so all-purpose threat. This is what I was kind of looking at. Dacre, Jan, Joyner. Will have to shoulder some of the work. Juice Wells, nation's top receiver, and Trey Knox at tight end, transfer in from Arkansas. Offensive line, major concern going into the fall. After one of their linemen, Jalen Nichols, suffered a significant injury. Stopping the run, they were 13th last year. They need to improve. For defensive signal caller Clayton White. Also, the secondary must replace standout quarterback Cam Smith. So, South Carolina's special teams were also a factor in close games last year. Let's get into it. Shane Beamer's 3rd year. Can he get this thing going?
No Carolina in Charlotte to start off.
I think I
I'm pretty
have
sure we gave them a win.
North Carolina winning.
I thought you had them losing. Are you going to actually make me pull this up?
Wait. I may have done North Carolina. Oh, no, I forgot to record the ACC.
Well, let me look. You have We didn't do. We only recorded since the ACC was first. We only recorded in conference games. Nice. Okay. I think you had them beat. I think you had North Carolina losing. It's in Charlotte. The game's in Charlotte.
I'm going to say that North Carolina has the better quarterback. North Carolina's going to beat South Carolina.
Okay. Furman, week 2.
Win.
Okay. Georgia, week 3.
Loss.
Mississippi State, week 4.
Win. I'm not very big on Mississippi State.
Tennessee, week 5.
At Tennessee or away from Tennessee? Oh,
at
Tennessee, it's a loss.
Bye week Florida.
Didn't we
have them losing?
Okay, I have them losing to Florida.
Mizzou, you have them beating Mizzou.
Yeah.
No, you have them beating Florida. You have them beating Mizzou.
Okay.
At Texas A&M, week 9.
I think they're going to beat Texas A&M.
Okay, here we go. Jacksonville State, week 10.
I think they beat.
Hey, look who it is. It's a cupcake.
Jacksonville State.
Yeah, and then it's their second cupcake in Vanderbilt. Then they have Kentucky. You had them. Hold on, this is South Carolina. Kentucky's right here. You had them losing to South Carolina. You had Kentucky losing to South Carolina. And then rivalry week 13, week 12.
Clemson. Yeah, they're going to lose to Clemson.
Okay. So their one non-conference cupcake game besides, it's a flip of the coin in my opinion, North Carolina. You have them going 4-8-4. That's actually what they're going. Not 4-8. They're going 8-4.
8-4, not bad. What they went last year, definitely could either be 6-6, 8-4, could be 10-2, 11-1. Again, it all depends how Spencer Rattler performs.
Rises and falls. And speaking of quarterbacks, the team that lost their big one last year, ex-Michigan guy coming in, that would be the Volunteers in Tennessee. Tennessee, new offensive coordinator. First year as the offensive coordinator. Third year with the team in Joey Halzell. They were 37th in transfers, but oh boy, did that high-flying offense give them something. 10th in recruiting. I watched, actually, this spring game, and Joe, is it Mixon? Milton looked like he had his arm back from high school. This is going to be a scary offense again.
Yeah, so Josh Heupel, air raid system, kind of took the nation by storm. Of course, they ended their losing streak to Alabama. They have to replace Hendon Hooker and receivers Jalen Hyatt, Cedric Tillman. They have Joe Milton. Will probably win the job. Brew McCoy and Squirrel White will help fill the void at receivers. They have to improve defense. They gave up 30 points a game. It's definitely an air raid style team. Score a lot, give up a lot. Coordinator Tim Banks has the unit going in the right direction. They went from 29 points 2 years ago to 22 points last season, but in all the big games, they gave up a boatload of points. However, similar to offense, defense has a few key personnel losses that they will try to overcome. So Tennessee, a very interesting storyline. Athlon Sports have them finish second in the East behind Georgia. So let's see where they fall.
They're starting off in Nattyville at Nissan Stadium, most likely Virginia.
Virginia, that is going to be a win.
At Austin Perry.
A win again.
At Florida.
Well, again, you tell me. I think that's a...
Tennessee, they lost to Florida. They'll lose to Florida.
Okay, they're losing to Florida.
UTSA.
That is a high-scoring affair, but a win nonetheless.
Air raid. Will that over-under 100 points? Call it now. Go.
Over.
That game we're going to have to watch. South Carolina, week 5. I'm trying to see where they had. You had them losing to Tennessee, so you had Tennessee. Yeah, so win.
Okay.
Bye week, Texas A&M.
I think Tennessee beats A&M.
Alabama, week 8 at Alabama.
At Alabama,
Tuscaloosa.
week 8, third Saturday in October. I think it is a loss.
Okay, you have them beating Kentucky, UConn. Hey, that team's also in Connecticut.
That team is also in Connecticut. They also lose in Connecticut.
They lose to UConn?
No. UConn loses in Connecticut.
Yeah, you got to be very clear because they're not home. UConn comes to them. Hey, but UConn did much better last year. Didn't they make a bowl game?
Yes, they did.
Okay. At Mizzou.
At Mizzou is I think this is a win.
I'm trying to find Mizzou. That's Florida. That's Arkansas. Tennessee. Yes, it is a win. Georgia.
Loss.
And Vandy, I'm sure,
Win.
is a win. I'm just doing a 1, 2, 3 losses. That's a 8 and 9 and 3 team.
Wow. Math isn't
is
your
hard sometimes.
Math isn't your strong suit, is it?
Not today. My brain is gone. You know what else might be gone? Look at this. Except I have to find him. Frick, what is his name? I just lost it. Texas A&M's head coach. That's who might be
Okay,
gone.
Jimbo Fisher.
Jimbo Fisher. Hey, Jimbo Fisher brings in Mr. Neck Brace himself, Bobby Petrino, in order to try to save his job. Not the best pick if you're trying to save your job as an offensive coordinator.
No, but you should have stuck with Goodis because that's about how good of an idea this is, I suppose. Disappointing 5-7 record. They had the best recruiting class last year, but I said that doesn't mean anything because they're all true freshmen. So,
and half of them transferred away.
And half of them are already gone. Bobby Petrino comes in, play calling duties go to Bobby Petrino. It's going to be a fun offense to watch. Going to be a high-scoring offense to watch. They do bring back Connor Wigman started kind of down the stretch and really solidified that. They beat LSU down the stretch as well. A&M did. Anaya Smith, Evan Stewart, and Moose Muhammad III all back at receiver. Good as any. 5-star freshman Ruben Owens will help fill a void left by Devon A-Train at running back.
Well, there's one of their 5 stars.
A&M's young defense struggled to stop the run. They were 14th in the SEC last year, but still limited teams to 21 points a game. So, offensive numbers probably going to go up. Defensive numbers probably going to stay the same, except rush offense, I would assume. However, the boosters already want him out. First sign of trouble, he's gone. And I've already predicted when that is, so go ahead, Simeon. Do your thing.
I forget when that is.
I'm going to tell you then. Go ahead.
This is the one team I forgot to do. Okay, hold up. I'll do it after. I got everybody else, but let me pull up their schedule real quick.
All right.
Sorry, guys. All right. New Mexico, week 1.
That's a win. New Mexico, things start off good. Everyone's feeling good. New season in College Station.
We're letting him set the scene.
Yep.
September 9th in South Beach at Miami.
All right. Things get a little tricky for Mr. Jimbo because he's going to go to South Beach, and everyone's going to be hyping Miami. Everyone's going to be hyping A&M. He's going to lose in South Beach. But it's not a panic because Miami's now being overhyped, so he just lost to a quote-unquote top 10 team. Okay? Everything's still fine. Everything's still fine. Everything's still fine.
Week 3 against University of Louisiana Monroe.
All right, things get back on track. They score 40 bajillion points against Louisiana Monroe. Things are looking up. Things are better. Connor Wigman's back on track. Anaya Smith doing his thing.
Week 4, home against Auburn.
Home against Auburn, week 4. Oh, look at that. They beat a real SEC team. Doing good things. And Texas A&M back on track. Getting pumped up. Starting to get swole. Drink a little too much on Saturdays now.
I was just seeing why do I not have them here? Texas A&M. Where are they on Auburn's schedule?
Well, I I put the team.
Oh, there they are. Okay, I found it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that was correct. Versus Arkansas in Arlington.
Versus Arkansas in Arlington. I think I have Arkansas beating them. Yes.
You sure do.
Okay. Arkansas beating them.
No, you don't. Sorry.
Oh, I have A&M winning?
Yes, you do.
Okay, I have A&M winning. Perfect. Well, either way, we've put together some things in a row. Things are looking good.
Okay, we take A&M and we go to Sweet Home Alabama.
Sweet Home Alabama is a giant L, and people start freaking out.
We have to remember when Alabama was really good 2 years ago, A&M
Beat them.
came in. No, Alabama they beat him, and they beat him last year too, didn't they?
No, A&M didn't beat Alabama.
That was like the one thing A&M did last year. They're at Tennessee in Week 7.
At Tennessee Week 7. You tell me, but I think I have Tennessee beating A&M.
Well, I would have to actually be good at my job. You do have Tennessee beating A&M.
And then I believe A&M goes on the bye. Am I right?
Oh, look at that. You do.
Because that's when they fired Jimbo Fisher.
So he's taking a team. They are 5-2
at this point, and they fired Jimbo Fisher. Yes.
A 5-2 team. So currently,
yes.
He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games left.
They've lost to
he's
Miami.
At least gonna...
No, he's 5-3 because he's lost to Miami, he's lost to Bama, and he's lost to
Tennessee.
Sorry. He's 5-3.
Yes, he's 5 He's 4-3.
4-3, even better.
Even more to prove your point.
Okay,
that makes more sense.
He's 4-3.
He's looking mediocre. He loses his bye week, is what you're telling me.
He doesn't. Yes, he loses. Jimbo. Yes, I see the joke you're making. Yes,
Thank
Jimbo
you.
loses to the
wow.
bye week. Yes, took me a little bit.
I'm trying.
I'm not trying that hard. Clearly.
South Carolina interim coach.
So Bobby Petrino probably going to take over. So we're going to know how this is going to go. You tell me. South Carolina, I think South Carolina beats them.
I believe you are correct. I have to remember where I put South Carolina against Texas A&M. Hey, look at that. You're right. They do beat them. At Ole Miss. We haven't done them yet.
At Ole Miss is a loss.
Oh. Mississippi State. We haven't done them yet either.
That's a win.
Okay. Here's their Abilene Christian. That's their Cupcake. And then they're at LSU, who we actually haven't done yet either.
And that's another loss.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losses. Oh, look at that. They're 6-6 again.
6-6. Improvement from 5-7 last year. They get a bowl game, but Jimbo's already gone. They've already looked for a new coach. And whoever the hot name is, not sure who that's going to be. Simeon, at this point, could Ryan Day, with your prediction, loses to Michigan, gets fired, could they go up to Columbus
100%.
and be like, hey, Ryan Day, come down here?
Here's all your money. Yep, 100%. That's exactly what will happen.
Did we just
if that's available? The other question is they're not going to go outside unless it's a Ryan Day or Jim Harbaugh type person, right? Which, Dabo Sweeney isn't leaving Clemson anytime soon, so they're going to stay they're not going to pull an Auburn, and they're going to stay in the SEC in order to recruit. So the question is, what offensive coordinator looks really good?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good...
I don't think A&M's stupid enough to get a defensive coordinator.
No, I wouldn't either. Do you maybe go somewhere like a Bill O'Brien, someone who had success running a college program at Penn State, and then he was a coordinator under Nick Saban.
Isn't he back in New England?
He's back in New England as their OC. So...
he want another? I think he wants another NFL head coaching job.
Maybe.
Stay tuned to the end of the season.
Yeah. A&M's going to be an interesting hot
take.
Ain't
nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
Let's go down to the Bayou, LSU Tigers. And if Simeon's good at his job, everybody's second season. Brian Kelly's second season. Mike Denbrock's second season, Matt House's second season. They're second in transfers. They got all the transfers. They're sixth in recruiting. They got all the recruits. And you know who else's second season this is? The dude from Arizona State, their quarterback. I don't remember his name, but
Jaden Daniels, fifth-year senior. They have to go to Alabama this last year. They got good tight ends, which Brian Kelly loves his tight ends. They got a good offensive line. Defense that limited offense to 22.5 points game last season. Even better up front as they get Mason Smith from injury. Linebacker Harold Perkins is poised to be an All-American as a sophomore and go in the top 10 of the NFL draft in 2 years. Second season in a row, secondary has undergone some massive overhaul, but thanks to a couple of key transfer additions, LSU should be fine.
Well, LSU has a very interesting schedule. They start off things in Orlando
Oh, I see
on
what
a
you did there.
Sunday,
Yep.
week 1 against Florida State. It's technically a home game for them.
I think so last year it was they made this terrific comeback, 99 yards in 2.5 minutes, scored a touchdown, got blocked. As time expired, scored a touchdown. Extra point got blocked, so Florida State ends up winning it. Florida State, one of the best teams in the country, I think beat LSU.
Beat LSU at the loss week 1. They go to Grambling.
That's a win.
At Mississippi State.
Win.
Arkansas.
Win.
Ole Miss.
Win.
At Mizzou.
Win.
Yeah. Auburn.
Win.
I'm pretty sure. I'm not going to double check these. Army.
Win.
Bye week. Alabama. At Alabama. Off of a bye week.
Win.
I see where you're going with this. Florida. You have them beating Florida.
Win.
Georgia State. You're going to have them beating Georgia State. Finish off the season with Texas A&M. Surprise, surprise. They beat Texas A&M. I want to just double check. You have them. Where is Arkansas? You have them losing. Yep. And Mississippi. We haven't done Mississippi State yet. Who's the other one? Auburn. You have them losing to LSU. You have Auburn going 10-1 with their first loss getting dropped week 1 against a very, very good Florida State team.
Yep.
Let's see if they live up to their expectations.
Yep. The only thing keeping Brian Kelly from winning national championships at Notre Dame was Notre Dame. He's at a SEC school. He's a great college football head coach. They're going to win a bunch of games. Fifth year or maybe sixth year senior at this point. It's a no-brainer.
So you have Georgia, and we can preview this right now. You have Georgia LSU in the SEC championship game.
Run it back. This is the same from last year, except LSU was stumbling going into that game last year because they lost to A&M last week of the season.
Snorting a line off the stripper and going straight
LSU
to
is going to win.
Championship
LSU
game.
is going to win.
Big news. If you're an LSU, go Tigers.
Yeah, and I hate it because I hate LSU. Oh my goodness.
All right, let's get the trash out of the way. Mississippi State. This is Zach Arnett's first season. He was promoted. He was the interim after, unfortunately, R.I.P. Mike Leach died last year. He brought in Kevin Barbay as his coach. He was most recently with App State as their offensive coordinator. In 2022, so the team that upset all of the big teams, he was there. He was at Central Michigan. Before that, he's also been a director of player personnel here and there. He promoted Matt Brock, who was the linebacker coach last year, to fill his position. Mississippi State, 36th in transfers, 27th in recruiting.
It's just not going to go well for Mississippi State. Has not gone well since Dan Mullins left there and Dak Prescott was there. Just not going to go well. Defensive-minded head coach in an offensive football conference, not going to go well.
I think the only exceptions to a defensive-minded head coach who hasn't had, and this is a slight asterisk, who hasn't had a all-star caliber, top of the cream of the crop caliber quarterback is Nick Saban.
Yep.
There's two guys.
Yep.
It's Nick Saban and Bill Belichick, and Bill Belichick had the GOAT. Nick Saban had good quarterbacks, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But he has a rotating door. So, anyway, they go week 1, Southeastern Louisiana.
I do think that they get that win.
That sounds like a community college name. They're Arizona home week 2.
I think that I have them winning that.
You do. You have them losing to LSU. I am sure of it.
Yes.
South Carolina, you have them. Where is Mississippi State on South Carolina's schedule? Oh, literally there. You have them losing to South Carolina.
Okay.
Alabama, you have them losing to Alabama. Western Michigan,
Winning.
beating Western Michigan. Bye week, Arkansas, Mississippi State, you have them losing to Arkansas. Auburn, you have them losing to Auburn. Kentucky.
I think they go 3-9.
You're just gonna come right out and say it.
I think they're gonna lose all their conference games.
They have a Thursday night game against Ole Miss.
Yes, that's the Egg Bowl. That's their rivalry. No, they lose that. Lane's taking too much heat losing last year's game.
So all 3 wins come out of conference.
I think so. Double check me, but
no, good skipping ahead.
Okay.
I'm sure you're right. Okay, the last interesting team and the last team in the West, in the SEC West, are. He got drunk. The drunkard Lane Kiffins. I didn't want to go fighting. I already did snorting.
So we're just going to skip Alabama.
Oh, I completely forgot. Second to last team in the West.
Okay.
We'll finish with Alabama. Ole Miss offensive coordinator John David Baker's second season, along with obviously his counterpart Charlie Weiss Jr. They are 6th in transfers, which hopefully was a quarterback somewhere in there, and 23rd in recruiting overall. Micaiah Lane Kiffin.
Started 7-0 last year. I forgot that just until recently. Then went 1-5 down the stretch. So he's got to find a way to win. I think some of that 1-5 was Lane Kiffin was talking with Auburn and going to take that Auburn job if I'm listening to Paul Feinbaum correctly. Pete Golding.
Also, Bo Nix got really inconsistent.
No, Jackson Dart did, but yes. Pete Golding comes in to help improve a defense that has just been absolute trash. They allowed over 30 points a game, and including in their bowl loss to Texas Tech. Jackson Dart had a solid start, but Lane Kiffin and the offensive staff brought in transfers Spencer Sanders from Oklahoma State and Walker Howard from LSU to push him this offseason. So who's going to be starting? I don't know. Spencer Sanders and Lane Kiffin's mind, that would be unbelievable. Dart held off the challenge in the spring, but the battle resumes this fall. Quinshawn Judkins, which I made an Instagram post about him. Go check that out. 4th and 1 podcast, returns as one of the nation's top running backs as a sophomore. And Zachary Franklin from UTSA comes over to help the receiving corps. Let's get into it.
All righty, Ole Miss. Accidentally closed I didn't even need that one. Ole Miss, Mercer.
Mercer's a win.
Mercer's the worster at Tulane.
Win again.
Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech. That's a win.
Sweet Home Alabama.
That is a loss.
You have them losing to LSU.
Okay.
So 3-2 to start the season. Arkansas. You have them. Where is the Ole Miss on Arkansas? Oh, it's up there. You have them beating Arkansas.
Okay, great.
Bye week, Auburn. You have them losing to Auburn.
Okay, great.
Vanderbilt. I'm sure you have them beating. Texas A&M. You have them beating. Georgia. You have them losing. UL Monroe, I'm sure you have them beating, and then the Egg Bowl, you have them winning the Egg Bowl. That's 4 losses. That's an 8-4 team, sir.
Yeah. So again, if Georgia's a little worse, I think they could get Auburn going back through. Lane Kiffin just loses dumb games. Title of the pod: Lane Kiffin loses dumb games.
I don't think that's. Yeah, I think we knew that. Remember back in 2014, 2013, 2012, we had a very interesting Notre Dame team. It was led by, surprise, surprise, a shiny white guy from Lake Forest, Illinois. That man's name was Thomas Reese. That is in Nick Saban's hall of revolving offensive coordinators. That's who he has picked to lead his team. He was Brian Kelly's offensive coordinator at Notre Dame before this, so he takes a jaunt down the Mississippi to join Alabama as the offensive coordinator. I don't know who his defensive coordinator is. Nick Saban always has a good defense, and this is another one of those rules of first in recruiting means out of top 50 in transfers.
Yes. Yep. So they say it's a toss-up between Alabama and LSU. Simeon says, or actually, I think this could be a down year. They have to replace quarterback, defensive end, wide receivers. Taylor Buckner's coming in from Notre Dame, so he's following Tommy Reese down there. He will be competing against Jalen Monroe and Ty Simpson. Not CFP insider Roberto watched their spring games between Jalen Monroe and Ty Simpson and said Alabama's going to lose every single game. He was being hyperbole, but he did not like the way they looked in spring. Behind, they have a deep stable of running backs to rely on until the quarterback gets going, and an offensive line featuring preseason All-American J.C. Latham at tackle. Defense has a new play caller, Kevin Steele, who's been there before, so he's back again. Must replace standout linebacker Will Anderson, but Dallas Turner expected to step right in there. It's the age-old question with Alabama. They lose a bunch. Is this the old Nick Saban Alabama team where it doesn't matter, everything works, and it would be now Georgia in that role? Or is this an Alabama, which more recent, when you lose a bunch, you take a step back? Lost 3 regular season games last year. How many are they going to lose this time?
Well, we'll check. Like I said, probably end of an era after this season. So if they don't do anything this season, quick question. Has Alabama ever won a national championship with a white guy at quarterback?
Yes.
Okay.
Or early in Saban's run, that's all he had, white quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's what I'm
remembering. It was
remembering.
like A.J. McCarron was one.
Yeah.
Philip Coker was one. I don't think they won the Natty that year, but still. Philip Coker was one. I can't remember them all, but yes.
Okay. Yeah, because it made it sound like these two guys were white guys. So,
Tyler Buchner. Tyler Buchner is Jalen Monroe and Ty Simpson are not, I believe.
Well, Ty Simpson definitely is not. But what was the other one? Jalen?
Milroe, yeah.
Yeah, probably not. Jalen Hurst. I don't know. He likes Jalen's down there. Middle Tennessee, week 1. I'm sure that's a win.
Middle Tennessee is a win week 1.
I forget. I think we gave them a loss to Texas this year at home.
Yeah.
Let me just triple check here real quick because it is loading. Pac-12, ACC. Why are literally all of my guys away? Is it this untitled spreadsheet? No, it's not.
I have
okay.
Texas going 10-2, but I think only losing 1 in conference. So no, I'm going to say no.
I don't know where my Big 12
I'm going to say
went.
Bama's going to beat Texas at home.
Yep, you're good. We're gonna say you're correct.
Okay, great.
Wait, Bama's going to beat Texas?
Bama's going to beat Texas at home.
Okay, at South Florida. I think you're wrong. I think we had them losing.
Okay, I don't think so, but that's fine. They beat South Florida.
You have them beating Ole Miss.
Yep.
You have them, I'm pretty sure, beating Mississippi State.
Okay.
Texas A&M, you have them
beating. Yep.
Arkansas, you have them beating. Where is my Tennessee Volunteers?
I had Arkansas beating them.
Oh yeah, that was the one game
Yes.
that you just you gave Arkansas that seemed very Arkansas, Alabama. Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
You have them beating Alabama, and I just want to confirm this here real quick. Saying you have them losing, and what is Control C? Oh my gosh, Mississippi State, yeah, and Ole Miss. Give me 1 second. Ole Miss, yeah, okay. Tennessee, you have them beating.
Yep.
Bye week LSU, you have them losing.
Yep.
At Kentucky, you have them beating Kentucky. Yeah. UT Chattanooga. He really likes playing the University of Tennessee teams. He always seems to play those. I'm sure you have them beating. And then Auburn, you have them beating. So they're going 10-2 again.
Yeah, 10-2.
And we get to see him on ESPN trying to plead his case into the college football again.
The game against LSU probably going to come down to who wins the West. Did last year. Probably will again this year. It's not bad. Alabama fans are going to be screaming murder or something. They've never had 2 losses in a regular season in back-to-back years, I think. So they're not going to know what to do. I think the SEC probably gets 2 teams in, one being LSU because they beat Georgia, and then the other one being Georgia, the national champion with 2 losses.
Well, this is... Go ahead, sorry.
So one coming in the title game, and then it's going to be the other 2 spots to, will it be Michigan, Ohio State? Will it be not Michigan at all? It probably won't be Michigan at all because that curse has already started. Ohio State, Clemson, I mean, lots of other Texas, Kansas State, USC I have going 10-2. I have Penn State going 11-1. You have Penn State going 11-1, I should say. So It's going to be very interesting.
It really is. And obviously, we're going to talk a lot about that over the next 4 weeks on what we think playoffs is going to look like, plus Notre Dame's future. But you got to catch us again next week. We'll see you guys then.
Wash your hands, you filthy animals.